What up fuckers, it's Andy. Welcome to another episode of Video Game Deathmatch. You just found me performing my duties as the assistant manager of a Fortress of Evil. Our Dark Lord is currently on a skiing vacation in the forever winter of the Kingdom of Valyria, and I am just in the process of finishing off the new torture chamber, ready for when he returns.
Puta binto. Esa creep.
Yes, I know. Sorry, one of the goblin minions is getting on my ass about the rigging for moving these giant stone blocks. Apparently they're not up to code. The tedious admin of Evil is making me think about some of my favourite diabolically inclined management sims, Dungeon Keeper and Evil Genius 2. Dungeon Keeper was developed by Bullfrog Productions and released by Electronic Arts in 1997 for MS-DOS and Windows 95, and was the brainchild of divisive gaming auteur Peter Molyneux. It has since been re-released on digital platforms and was followed up by Dungeon Keeper 2 in 1999. The game boasts a 92% on game rankings and sold quite well, although not up to the standard of other Bullfrog productions, such as Theme Park. Evil Genius 2 World Domination was developed and published in 2021. It is a sequel to Evil Genius, which was released in 2004. The game was released on PC, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X/S. It holds a 75 out of 100 on Metacritic and was nominated for Best Sim/Strategy Game at the Game Awards 2021. But which one is better? We're going to find out today. So join me as I oversee hazardous work conditions with an expired health and safety certificate for Video Game Deathmatch. Dungeon Keeper vs Evil Genius 2. Ah, bollocks, the rope pulley snapped. A massive stone block has crushed one of our goblins. Ah, this is gonna hurt my chances for a Christmas bonus. Ooh, this is really bad. That goblin was really well liked.
Vada. Pesto boot.
I know. The union reps are on their way apparently. It's just what I need. But on more cheerful news, for this episode of Video Game Deathmatch, we'll be pitting Dungeon Keeper and Evil Genius 2 against each other across 5 different categories. Those categories are visual presentation, sound/music, gameplay, DLC, and perhaps, quite tastelessly under the circumstances, minions.
Boot. Pesto shoe.
Okay, I'm coming. They're here. I'll see you in round 1. Round 1. Visual presentation.
Flap gooch. Close up paparazzi.
Yeah. Hey there, I'm just in the middle of a meeting with the Goblin Union over that little horrifying workplace accident. Give me a second and we'll talk visual presentation. There's a lot of huddled deliberations going on, so we'll probably have time. Alright, look guys, I'm trying to be respectful here, but I can't make this list of demands work. Yes, skebadi. But I think you're being unreasonable. The whole point of this meeting is to adequately compensate for the loss of dear, Fat Toad? Fatoe. But I don't think a fully salaried week of mourning for the entire crew feels appropriate. Can you not see that?
Okay, flay.
Right. Okay, we've got a little bit of time, so let's start with a visual presentation of Dungeon Keeper. For a game from 1996 using early 3D graphics, the visuals in Dungeon Keeper hold up shockingly well. Sure, there's a bad case of pixelization at times, but it's not nearly as prevalent an issue as you'd expect. It helps that the game's visual style was designed with these technical limitations in mind. The creature designs keep it simple, classic even. Every monster cuts a distinct figure, so even if you squint really hard, you could make out what creature you were dealing with at the time. It's an art style that makes sense for this game and what it's aspiring to do. Oh shit, hold on.
Bun.
Really? So you think asking for weekly pie and peas suppers for the weekend shift workers is a respectful request? I really feel like you're just taking advantage of this incident.
Pustrata pincho. Pestincho.
No, this is not on at all. Fatoe had a brother, am I correct? He was, let's see, Piss Kidney?
Piskine.
Right, yes. How about I give him a week off for morning at half salary, and I'll try and swing some nice tuna sandwiches at the weekend, the kind that has onion and peppers in it. How about that? As I was about to get to, Dungeon Keeper is a very meta take on the classic adventure genre that was very popular on home computers during the 90s. It takes the classic adventure game setup and flips it on its head, giving players a chance to see what it would be like to be the villain of an adventure game. The aesthetic being very traditional in style makes complete sense. All of the components in the game fit that theme, and the first person mode really hammers home this idea. The visual style of that viewpoint perfectly matches the stuff you'd see in the likes of Elder Scrolls 2.
So the domino.
Fuck's sake. Okay, pies. But they're going to be basic meat and potato, and mostly potato. We're not made of money here, okay? Evil Genius 2 has a big colourful universe in front of it, but unlike Dungeon Keeper, which cribs heavily from fantasy-based video games, this is borrowing more directly from movies, comic books and cartoons. In fact, a few slight aesthetic adjustments and you've basically got yourself a Despicable Me video game here. But that's not really a dig, the game is simply interested in the same sorts of things as the creators of every Facebook grandma's favourite meme. One thing it has over Dungeon Keeper is the way it ensures the base you're building stands out visually. Every room is designed with its own personality, reflecting its function while still being visually captivating. Dungeon Keeper's array of rooms don't always stand out at first glance. Once you get your base up and running here, it looks vibrant and alive.
So the Groka. Titty.
Finally, they've agreed. Okay, I've got some paperwork that you need to fill out to finalise this new deal. Do you need a pen or did you bring your own? Oh, for fuck's sake. The biggest complaint about Evil Genius 2, especially compared to Dungeon Keeper, is the user interface. A good UI is a noteworthy part of any game's visual presentation. Being able to deftly make your way around the game screen serves a significant role in how effectively the player can actually play the game. On this front, Evil Genius 2 falls short of its competitor. It's very busy. There's a lot going on with that taskbar, and it's not always clear what does what, or where you will find a certain function or item. Even when playing the tutorial stage, it sometimes expects you to know where to go at times, and the design simply isn't clear enough to get away with that. Dungeon Keeper, on the other hand, is beautifully simple and tidy. A handful of tabs on the side of the screen cover everything. You are never lost when navigating the game. Everything is just a few clicks away at all times. Right, okay, good. Bollocks. I don't have a pen. Just hold on, guys. I've got to pop to the supply room. For its simplicity, clarity, and ingenuity, the winner for this round is Dungeon Keeper. Round 2. Sound and music. No. Stop using your arms so much. Use your legs. Heave! Oh, hey. I'm just overseeing the rest of the crew finishing work on the torture chamber. No, it's fine. This is a new rope. Well, I got someone to tie a knot in the old rope, but it's a good knot. Don't worry, folks at home. These are perfectly normal workplace sounds. This was my awkward attempt at segueing into talking about sound and music, two crucially important elements of establishing tone and a sense of place in any video game, especially ones centered around building your own worlds. Dungeon Keeper keeps things quite simple again. The music is understated at times. It conveys mood perfectly without being overwhelming. It doesn't draw focus, rather it accentuates the action on the screen. You could listen back to the soundtrack and it stands up perfectly as its own thing, but you might find yourself not remembering a certain arrangement, and then suddenly an ominous note will ring out, and you'll be taken right back to that dungeon. It uses the music so economically that you only notice it when it needs to be noticed. But the majority of the heavy lifting is being... Legs! Heave! But the majority of the heavy lifting is being done by the sound effects and voice acting. Legs, if you use your back, you're going to pull something. Sorry, the main narrator's voice dripping with malevolence. the squawks and chitters of the imps, and other assorted weirdos that fill out your dungeon. They embed themselves in your skull. You'll hear them at random times, decades later. Iconic does not even begin to describe the soundscapes of Bullfrog's opus. Ah, finally, it's finished. Alright, let's test this out. Goblins, bring me a prisoner, preferably one of the healthier looking ones. They need to last a while.
Goop.
Evil Genius 2 has a superb soundtrack, perfectly capturing the mood of a 60s era spy genre with a faintly modern twang. More exciting still, the game uses dynamic, high alert music tracks that switch on during enemy incursions. These really amp up the pressure and once again feel perfectly at home with this genre. You could almost picture James Bond storming the base to these specific tracks. It clicks together just right, giving you a real sense of place. Ah, here's a prisoner. Okay, strap him in. The use of voice acting and sound effects in Evil Genius 2 are equally superb, perfectly implemented and full of variety. The base activities are incredibly immersive sounding. If you zoom into a specific room, their ambience come into focus. It makes the base feel like a living place.
I wanna go home. I miss my mother.
Right, switch it on. Okay, as I was saying, this is a tough call. It could really go either way. One game provides subtle but impactful music with iconic sound effects, and the other showcases a smart approach to environmental immersion. But ultimately, I'm going to go for the one that can accomplish a lot without drawing attention to itself. So this round goes, once again, to Dungeon Keeper. Right, take him back to his cell. Round 3. Gameplay. Fucking hell. This isn't good. Hey, we've caught word that a band of adventurers have been spotted on the outer perimeter of the fortress, but we don't have sights on them yet. You, Skunkwort, take a small scouting party out to the dark edges of the fortress wall. Come back and report any findings.
Discovered.
Lower the door. Alright, wind the door up. I'm going to head to the watchtower to get a better look. This brings us to gameplay. Often the most important part of any game, especially games as complex as base builders. Dungeon Keeper keeps it simple. A few clicks is all you really need. Carving space within the map is straight to the point. Highlight a space, and your minions do the rest. The game offers a handful of rooms to use, and the UI, as we established, is simple and tidily organised at the side, not taking up space or drawing focus. It ensures everything only requires 1 or 2 clicks to pull off. Putting together a base is quick and easy, requiring very limited resource management. It doesn't allow the player to get bogged down in the admin of running a base, it's almost solely focused on the outcome, having as much evil fun as possible. Possession is a fantastic mechanic that turns the game into a first-person hack-and-slash adventure. Like an old-school dungeon crawler, only this time you're the mobs. A great concept, perfectly executed. It's super easy to use, as is everything else in this game. Molyneux and his Bullfrog team took everything they'd learned about builder games, from Populous and Syndicate, through to the theme games. There's honestly a minimal learning curve involved before you understand how everything functions in Dungeon Keeper. It's a perfectly calibrated gaming experience. No arduous tutorial phases, everything makes sense within minutes, and it just lets you get on with things. Right, someone hand me a telescope.
Dunk.
I think I see something. Shapes in the distance. What was that? Eesh. An arrow flew right by me. That was a club. Oh, that goblin caught it with his face. Ooh, there's a note attached. From the desk of Prince Valentius. Ooh la la. Stand down, open your gates, and release all prisoners, or face the wrath of the Northern King. Bored. Raven. Send this note to the bandit camps in the wilds. I want those little pricks ambushed. Leave the posh one alive and kill everyone else. Let's head back down. The air up here is horrible. Evil Genius 2 has far more varied components when compared to Dungeon Keeper. It's far more involved. More rooms, more resource management, more space to operate with. It's dense and more nuanced in its approach to base management. Enemy incursions are more random in nature and aren't the primary focus of the levels. Rather, they are an obstacle that you must overcome as you run your burgeoning supercriminal network. While you build up your bases, you can send out minions to perform missions for you. These are called schemes. These can earn you money or reduce heat on your organisation, but they run in real time, so you might need to wait 40 minutes to see the completion of a scheme. I really dislike it when modern games function like idle mobile games. There's no reason to make us wait that long to progress side content. Also similar to mobile games is the objectives. Arbitrary accomplishments, like building X amount of Y, and you complete these in exchange for money. These elements add extra layers of playability to the game, albeit to mixed results. The game lets you control your evil genius, who wields their own special buffs to improve productivity in their own way. It also features supporting NPCs that can be brought on to assist you in your wicked machinations. These are called henchmen.
Stab the dip. Scott McNally.
Brilliant. Bring them in.
Shopping bed.
That's a lot of game to offer, which means you need to be more involved mentally, which is fun sometimes, but then you'll find yourself working on a base for a while, and something you did a while ago has screwed you over now. Like getting carried away with a project, and suddenly money dries up, and you're sat there waiting for the money to trickle back in, and trickle out, until enough is there to finish the job. You either show patience, which is boring, or you can go back and try again, which is frustrating. Eventually you get your shit together and learn to play more carefully, but it still exists as a potential roadblock for progression, and more importantly, for entertainment. Comparatively, it's a lot harder to fuck up playing Dungeon Keeper, and that means it's more entertaining from start to finish. Nailing a map in Evil Genius 2 is very rewarding, but it's just not as fluid an experience. Complexity of systems is cool, especially if you've got time on your hands, but not much in this world can beat something simple and refined. The ability to pick up and play a game, especially in a genre as layered as this one, borders on a miracle. With that in mind, the winner is Dungeon Keeper. I want a warm welcome, everybody. We're about to be in the presence of royalty. Round 4. DLC. Stop resisting, royal dog. We slaughtered your entire party. There's no one to help you now. Who are you, and what brought you here?
Tell your lowly piss-rats to unhand me this instant, for I am Prince Valentius, the handsome firstborn son of King Grimace III.
Does that mean you're his firstborn son, who is handsome? Or were you just the first of his sons to be attractive?
Ha! Wouldn't you like to know, you underworld pig-dick?
Yeah, you are not endearing yourself to us right now. Goblins, take him to the torture chamber. We're gonna get some answers out of you.
Not so rough there, you shit-smelling testicle handlers.
While we get Prince Charming over there set up in the chamber, let's talk DLC. DLC is a tricky subject in today's market, where it's often obvious when a game has sliced out existing content purely to sell it back to you. But back in the day, DLC used to come in expansion packs, sold on separate discs to help build out the games. They felt substantial, like they were made purely because the game was popular and they wanted to make more content. Until they were ready to make a sequel. Games with a wealth of existing content, like base builders, really need to make an effort if they're going to make extra content feel worthwhile. Dungeon Keeper's DLC comes in the form of the Deeper Dungeons expansion pack. This set featured 15 new dungeons, and overall improvements to gameplay, such as improved enemy AI for both enemy keepers and adventurers. Okay, so first things first, welcome to our torture chamber. We're just going to lightly stretch and stab you until you tell us what the king is up to, and then we'll have you shipped back home to lick your wounds. How's that?
I swear to you now, if I die here, the 4 great houses will raise their banners in my father's name and reduce this grubby little tower to rubble, you deplorable jizz-gulper.
Stop doing that. Okay, you, Goblin with glasses. I'm going to talk about Evil Genius 2's DLC, so you stand by and make notes if the good prince says anything. Evil Genius 2's DLC centered on a season pass of paid content that added new henchmen, skins, equipment, story missions, new minion types, a new layer, and new enemies. The game also offered free DLC tied to the big Valve titles like Team Fortress 2 and Portal, in this case adding a new henchman and story missions, a new room, new traps, and new loot. What makes Evil Genius 2 DLC feel substantial is that the base game has so much stuff, none of these new additions feel like they were stripped from the game. I felt like I was getting my money's worth from the base game, and in turn, the Season Pass felt like good value for money. Dungeon Keeper's DLC offered in-game improvements, but the core content was just more Dungeon Keeper, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but the Evil Genius 2 DLC offered new content that altered how you might play the game itself. In that respect, I have to give this one to Evil Genius 2. Okay, Prince Valentinus, ready to give up your secrets yet?
I confess that I rogered your goat of a mother.
Okay, he's not going to break. The pain is just making him ruder. Switch it off.
Well,
Off. Turn the wheel left. Wait, no, right! Mother of cunts. Round 5. Minions. Yeah, you just keep sweeping the excess blood into the drains. You.
keep still, Randall.
Can you find the prince's head? We found most of the body now, but that one flew off somewhere. Retrieve it and throw it into that big wet bag over there. Hey, just clearing up a little mess here with the help of my loyal goblins. Having good staff on hand is a big part of any successful enterprise, and having endearing or memorable minions is essential for any game about diabolic masterminds. Dungeon Keeper's creatures are distinct and serve unique purposes to your evil plans. The Horned Reaper is obviously one of the big stars, getting the cover art dedicated to him, and there are other demons and twisted beasts to play with. Several undead creatures are on offer, including a really fun vampire design. There's the Orc and his uglier sibling, the Troll, and an overtly sexual dominatrix character. She got sexier redesigns in future installments, but I like how repellently perverted the design is in this game. The other games feel like a safe level of sexy, something even the most beige of kinks could get on with. The Mistress in Dungeon Keeper 1 is the scary kind of kinky, like something you'd find wandering around the basement from the movie Hostel. But none of the minions are quite as iconic as the imps, your standard default minion. Easily the most simplistic of designs in the whole game, and yet their wretched / mischievous voices instantly endear you to them. You will summon more of them just to have them scampering around your dungeon. You can also abuse your staff with the use of your Hand of Evil, which is quite fun. What's the use of having a horde of loyal servants if you can't slap them around?
Bang.
No, not you of course, no.
Baby Mac. Oh, scoot below. Scoot. Hamzin below.
Oh. Fuck. The plant here is glowing. The Dark Lord is trying to call me. I don't think I could get away with ghosting him. Fuck. Okay, shit.
Andy, is that you?
Yes, my lord. What do you need?
So I'm minding my own business, enjoying a ski holiday that I've been planning for years, mind you. When one of my ravens shows up, I'd there's word that you murdered the king's handsome son, and now the 5 armies are marching on my fortress? What in the 14 hells is going on?
It's nothing, my lord. It's a miscommunication. The prince is fine, I promise. It's all being sorted out as we speak.
It better had be. I entrusted my dominion of evil to you, and was quite insistent that no big moves are made in my absence. Release the prince as soon as you can, and I want no more drama. Is that the prince's fucking head?
For the last 20 minutes you pretended to look for things, and now you find it.
For fuck's sake, Andrew. I'm going to have to end my holiday early and fly back at once. I had a tour of the ice mines planned next week. Pissed away that deposit now. Keep my fortress in one piece until I get back. That's an order.
I'm sorry, sire. I love you. Fuck. He said my full name. He's really mad. I should probably finish this round off, even though I'm not in the mood now. All of Evil Genius 2's minions stem from the same worker minion. Through training you can follow several different progression paths. Following muscle will turn them into mercenaries, before maxing out as hitmen or karate masters. Deception path will turn them to undercover valets, before building towards counter agents. And the science path will turn your worker into a technician, before maxing out as a quantum chemist. The fact they are all rooted from the same base minion means there's not a lot of room for variety in their designs. However, the game does provide some variety with its use of henchmen. These characters are unlocked with side quests, and each bring unique abilities and bonuses to your base. There is a lot of personality and range on offer with these characters. It's just a pity the rest of the base doesn't get as wildly varied as this, so this round goes to Dungeon Keeper. Great. The 5 armies have arrived. I'd best go get to the gate. I'll see you there for the final verdict. The final verdict. So, how's it looking, lads? Okay, so that's definitely a battering ram. Not great. But do not fear, my goblin friends. We serve the Dark Lord, and he gives us strength. Even all the way from the ski resort, where he is currently furiously packing his luggage. The collective force of the 5 armies cannot hope to meet our strength and resolve. We will win this battle. I promise you this. Fuck it, I tried. So the winner of this episode of Video Game Deathmatch is Dungeon Keeper, 4-1. One of the defining games of the genre, it's always going to be very hard for any descendants to match up what the OG achieved. Evil Genius 2 is a great game, immensely rewarding fun, but as someone who appreciates clean design choices that make a game more accessible to more players, it was always going to be Dungeon Keeper that won out here. Both games are available on Steam and GOG, and constantly appearing in sales, so please do give them both a try. That didn't sound good. So thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please like or subscribe on your podcast platform of choice, and recommend us to your friends, family, and subordinates at work. You can follow me at Twitter at truly_defective, and Blue Sky at trulydefective, one word, and follow the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, and Blue Sky at VGDM Podcast, all one word. And that's all for now. We'll see you again real soon, I hope. But in the meantime, don't forget to get a life and... Oh fuck, wait, they're coming. You give them steel, lads.